First time. Will it start without an engine management light? Let's see. Yes! Yes, the engine management light is out. Now, somebody has blocked off that EGR. I think there is definitely going to be a puncture somewhere. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Now, you joined me this morning just while I'm moving some cars around, just so that we can get going with today's video. And today's video is a pretty big one. We're going to get a whole heap of work done, and I also have a very nice surprise for you at the end, so make sure you watch all the way through. Guys, please enjoy this video, smash the like button, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. It's going to massively help this channel grow so that I can bring you guys more and better content. And thank you everybody so far for all the support, all the comments, and yeah, let's keep going and let's have a load of fun. So I'll see you in the video. So right now I'm going to head out. I've got the wheel in the back. I'm going to go and get that tyre changed. I don't want to mess around with the puncture repair. I think given the fact that we've got all of that cracking on the tread and no doubt on the sidewall, I'd much rather just get it changed. And you know, if I was buying the car myself, I'd like to think that somebody did the job the right way. So we'll go and we'll get a replacement tyre fitted, then we can crack on with doing the rear brakes. And just like that, F1 style speed pit stop, we've got ourselves a new tyre. And whilst it's a part worn, the tread depth on it is really good. So before we get this on, we've got to get the other side off and we've got to replace those brakes. So let's get on to that now. So now that the shoe or the drum even is off, we can take a look, and inside you can see just how nasty and worn that is. Just a whole nasty build-up of gunk. So what we'll do is we'll have a clean up and see where we're at. And all I'm using here is just some brake cleaner in a spray can. It's not heavily pressurized at all, but it's just enough to start agitating and getting rid of all of that build-up that's been there for ages. And let's hope my missus doesn't need that toothbrush tonight. So I've had a clean up inside the drum here, and well, you can still see there are some marks here from where it's been sticking, but actually the inside of the drum itself actually looks pretty good too. Now I'm confused, because now I've had a bit of a clean up and clean the inside of the drum. I've taken a measurement with the vernier gauge of 7.11 mil on the rear shoes, and well, here's the confusing part. If I show you the brand new ones that we have here in the box, these ones, well, if I take a measurement of these, I'll take a measurement and show you. Take it off, well, 7.63 is what we're seeing. So it kind of shows me that these have been replaced, that, you know, that they're not far off being new. So why we have another set in the back, I don't know, unless they bought two packs thinking that a pack was one side. I don't know, but we're not obviously going to need to fit them, and they're still functioning and working well, so it would seem silly to replace them now. But now I'm left with a box of rear shoes that I don't need. So despite all of that, it's clear they don't need replacing, but it was well worth getting them off and checking anyway. It just means that there's a spare set of rear shoes for a 2003 Polo if anyone needs them. Now, already moving to this side, we can see that at some point this has had a brand new hub. This is way cleaner and shinier than the other side, so I would say this has been done more recently and that's probably when the shoes were replaced also. So looks like they bought one too many boxes of shoes. And it's the exact same story on this side of the car as well, but it was clear to me that the cylinder has been replaced on this rear brake setup as well. So I think what's probably happened is they've rebuilt this particular side and at the same time they've replaced both brakes. So now that the brakes are done and we've got that tyre sorted, let's get on to the EGR valve. Now obviously at this point we're going to be removing the battery and the battery tray just to give us enough access to everything, and I will be replacing the battery at the same time. Prior to doing this though, I tested the alternator just to make sure it wasn't an alternator issue, and it was quite simply not the issue, so it is definitely the battery, so that will be changed and a new one will be put in. So I think it's fair to say that somebody has definitely tried to blank off this EGR valve at some point, because, well, there's a little blanking plate that was sat over the gold pipe, the EGR pipe, and this blanking plate coupled with the EGR being fitted the wrong way round definitely leads me to believe that somebody has tried to blank this off. This is also the part, if you can see, that when I took the EGR off in the last video, you can see where it's stripped off. So I'm going to drill them out and re-tap them and see if we can reuse that again. So let's go and get that one checked out now. And here we are, all done. Now we've got the new EGR valve in, it's connected up, it's all bolted in. We managed to drill out them threads and put tap them as well and put a new bolt on the end to hold that all in place. The EGR pipe is all connected. I've got a little screw just to fix on the top, and then we are back in at the back here, and in we go there with the battery tray and just getting it fixed down. It was two 13mm nuts and a 13mm bolt just to hold that down, and then we can sit the new battery in, fix that in place and attach everything together. Now we've fitted that new EGR, we've connected up the battery, we're going to run the car for the first time. Will it start without an engine management light? Let's see. Yes! Yes, the engine management light is out, which means the EGR fix is done and sorted. That is amazing. I am so happy that that's now gone. Awesome. Now we need to get onto the anti-roll bar bushes, but we are a major step closer to getting this car done. So let's go get the anti-roll bar bushes done. Then I've got to tackle that front wing. For the anti-roll bar bushes, you can see just inside here, there's 1, 2, 13mm nuts that need to be loosened. And then that's going to allow us to take this bracket off here and take these anti-roll bar bushes out. And the easiest way I found to get those two bolts out, as you can see here, is just to raise up the suspension a little bit there. The drive shaft was going through the center and it stopped you really being able to get to both bolts at once. So it was a little bit of fiddling around, but it wasn't too bad. And once they were out,
it was relatively simple to pull out the old bush and get the new one in and refit the bracket too. And so once those bolts were back in, everything was tightened up and the wheel was back on, next we needed to get into getting this front wing done, which is the task I have been dreading for a little while.
Okay, so here is the front wing, and it's the last piece to the puzzle, getting it painted to get it on the car, and then the car is done and can go straight up for sale. This is the part of the project really that I've been most nervous about. Like I said, because I just don't have much experience with painting, prep or bodywork at all. So I said I'll give it a go, and I absolutely will give it my best shot. I've already scratched up the panel, or scuffed the panel, just to take the sheen off of the primer that was already on it, ready for its first coat. So I'm going to give it a few moments just to let it air off, and then I will go with the first coat of paint and see how it goes. And you know, if it goes well, great. If it doesn't, and it's a case of more coats of paint and sanding it down, then that's what I'll do.
And here goes my first attempt, and I was quite nervous at this point, I have to be honest with you, but let's give it the time and the progress it needs.
Okay, so that's the first pass. I'm going to give it about 10-15 minutes. It's a little bit cooler in here, so if I give it a little bit longer, it's no harm. But just to sort of start drying a bit so that to the touch it's not coming away on my hand, but I don't really want to touch it yet. There's plenty of areas, I mean, it's very streaky at the moment. There's two reasons I think for that. First and foremost, obviously being a first coat and covering a black primer, but also just my inconsistency with the spray technique. So I'm probably going to give it a good 3 or 4 coats before we even attempt to start looking at the can of lacquer.
And with the second pass of paint, you can see that the colour starts to fill out a little bit more. There's still some streaks, and I guess I'm gonna be getting a degree of that from a rattle can, but you know, more and more coats will start to even it out, thicken the colour up, and then we should have a silver panel and not a zebra striped looking panel.
Right, okay, so time's clearly cracking on now. We've given a bundle of coats on this, and actually it looks pretty good. There's a few imperfections, but as I said before, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for a better than it was job, and obviously now we don't have a big hole.
Yeah, so time was starting to crack on. I think it was probably about 8:30 at night before I even went with the first coat of lacquer. But here is the first of 2 coats of lacquer.
The lacquer has started to tack again. I don't know if you can hear this. Oh, and this is going to be the final coat of clear coat. So we'll lay this one on, and then I'm going to let the panel dry overnight, and then in the morning we'll get it fitted to the car.
Okay everyone, good morning. It is the following morning and the wing has had the evening to dry, so I've got my coffee. Let's go and check out and see how it looks. And well, here it is for what we're after. Actually, it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy. So yeah, I mean, not bad considering it's, well, my first time painting a wing. And now that we are all done with that panel, we need to get it back on the car. So let's go ahead, get it fitted, and let's see how it looks when it's all on. And you know, to be fair, color wise at the moment looks pretty okay. I wasn't expecting 100%. You know, it's definitely not a factory finish, but it's now a front wing without a big gaping hole in it, so I'm happy anyway. Okay, so now that the Polo is finished, we need to update the list of parts. Now, the only thing to add is the brand new second-hand tyre, which costs £25, which takes our new prep cost from £156.42 to £181.42, and that is the total cost that we have spent on this car to get it prepped and ready. Is it perfect? No, absolutely not. But it's done, and it means that we can now get it up for sale and move on to the next car. And with all of that, guys, this is the end of the video, and it's the end of the journey for our little Polo. It's a complete transformation from what it was only a couple of videos ago, and I'm more than happy with the progress that we've made so far. So whilst it's the end for this car, it's the start for a brand new car. And if you remember at the start of the video, I said we have a surprise coming at the end of the video, and check out the new car for the channel. You didn't think I was going to make it that easy for you, did you? You're going to have to wait until the next video to check out our new car. If you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, and if you want to see what the next car is, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.